What's up, guys? Blizzard announced today that they are actually buffing the Sartharion 3 Drake encounter significantly so that you no longer can just Zerg this boss. We used to go in on the beta and with your template gear, you could literally burn this boss before having to deal with any of the mechanics. So it's gonna be a lot more fun and a lot more coveted to actually kill the boss. Also, I do want to say this is going to be a clip from the podcast we did earlier today with me and Crix for the Warrior Deep Dive. Right as we started the podcast is when Blizzard announced all of this information. So this is just going to be a clip from that, us reading it and just kind of going it all over together. Anyways, guys, I will have the Warrior Deep Dive up on YouTube soon, as well as we're working on the Hunter Deep Dive live on Sunday on my Twitch channel. So sit back, guys, and enjoy. There was brand new news that came out from Blizzard, which is crazy. The first thing that they said is Realm First achievements are now unavailable for 24 hours after a player character takes a free transfer to another realm. It was 60 days. So this is allowing people to transfer right now to a new realm to chase the World First or Realm First, like officially get your Realm First achievements. And I'm curious if it stays when they transfer off. This is intended to eliminate a concern that a lot of people had that they were using free transfers to move to a realm that isn't overcrowded. People were probably afraid to take the free transfers.
Oh yeah, that would be a good incentive, yeah.
Yeah.
They're trying to incentivize more competitive guilds to move, I guess.
Because a lot
of people doing like professions and stuff, which makes sense.
Does taking a free transfer actually put your character on the transfer cooldown? Like, can you transfer back or not?
I think you can, because people used to double free transfer instantly. They would free transfer on EU to, like, I forget what server it was. Some random server.
Brain into Gaenas, yeah.
Yep.
So if you could like transfer to a very empty realm, get your realm first 80, and then go back to another realm that's a bit more populated, that would be pretty OP.
Yeah. Other than, yeah, I guess the only thing would be if servers are locked. The next thing they announced, which is probably the biggest thing, this is crazy for I think this is so exciting.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, Sartharion 3D was just giga buffed in HP values. The Will of Sartharion, which is the buff he gets for each Drake, was increased in health by 25%. With when one Drake is alive, 45% with 2 Drakes, and 65% with all 3 Drakes, which was 25% total. So this means this is directly targeted so that in Sarth 3D, you will not be able to just Zerg down the boss. You actually have to do the mechanics. Crazy thing is, a lot of guilds going for Realm First or World First have already practiced and figured out that they're just going for Zerging down the boss. Now you won't be able to do that anymore. You actually have to do it. This is one of the most exciting bosses in like the entire like first phase, doing it down all 3 dragons. Crix, how do you feel about this?
We did it on beta when it was out, and it took us like an hour to be able to do it, and it was a lot of fun. It was more fun.
It was way more fun.
It was way more fun that way. I'm not a fan of like the whole Zerging. I am a fan in terms of that's what we have to do. Like, I'm just doing it because we have to do it.
Yeah.
But just because you have to do something doesn't mean you like it, right? And I'm not a big fan of the whole Zerging. I'm not a fan of anything that's like cheesy, Zergy, or nothing like that. I want to do it how it's intended, right? They didn't intend for that to happen, so I'm glad they did that. Which means I'm also team some changes, bro. Like drastically. I like that they're doing some changes.
I think they're doing great changes. Zyrene?
I like changes like that. We had actually been discussing this about how Sartharion is so much more fun to do where you're actually doing the mechanics on it.
Yeah.
I remember I was playing with Oro, and we were doing Sarth 3D on beta, and it was like we had to tell everybody, no, we're not zugging it. Even though we could, we're not zugging it. We're actually doing it the way where you
stop
kill
DPS,
the dragons.
stop DPS.
Yeah, we're like swap to the dragon, and like actually just doing it. And it was, and Oro was saying it was like the most fun he had actually had playing WoW up until this point. So I like the idea of making it more memorable and having it be a longer encounter where you actually have to do the mechanics. And it's probably going to be more appealing to people just in general, because I don't think it's fun to watch something go from 100 to 0 in like 40 seconds and just be like, all right, guys, that was great. Wow, great encounter. It was really hard. And I just think it's better nowadays to buff things around your players and kind of shore up those things that would be, I guess for me, it's a fun sucker to just kill it and zug it down.
I think there's
that would just feel like classic all over again. Just burning a boss before it has time to do any mechanic.
Yeah,
I was just saying that too. I was saying it feels like they're paying attention like on gruels and stuff when we're just clapping that out. And they're like, okay, Nobody
Yep.
liked that. Let's go back and change it a little bit, you know?
It is supposed to be the hardest fight in phase 1, and on private servers it was like more of a challenge. You would just be like, well, let's just do 2D because it's easier to kill and you get like the same loot. But now, like, oh, it's exciting. I don't know if it'll still, I don't think it'll be hard. And
I
later
was gonna say
phases,
that.
65% HP directly on the boss. It doesn't say they're affecting any of the Drakes too, or damage you take. Doesn't mean it's not going to be zergable later on. It's just like in pre-bis gear, I doubt we'll be able to.
They know it too, because they say it should start 3D should still be quite manageable, but the strategy is you can't burn it down. It's much less viable to be burning it down.
Let's go, dude. All right, great changes all around, except for, well, not except for, but the next change, not except for, well, that's only for me because I'm trying to farm cares and XP rep right now.
They've been
But
watching
raids-
Simonize, dude.
Raids are now counted towards the 5 instance per lockout, instance per hour lockout. This is hourly instance limits prevents players from entering instances for the entire hour. This is happening with raids, and I think it is happening it's sharing the lockout between raids and dungeons because
It says with this change, farming a dungeon should not prevent you from entering a raid instance, so long as you don't attempt to reset and read. So it's saying
it's only the first time.
Yeah, it's the hourly instance limit prevents players from entering instances that they've entered at least once already within the last hour. So for raids, it looks like you get one shot, so it's not going to be like this. This affects trash farming pretty heavily
Oh yeah, massive
in the long run.
Do you guys see something bad about this that affect like speedrun pre-clearing trash? Or something?
Well, we shouldn't
that's
have
the thing that I think is
pre-clearing.
like there's a few things here. Like it affects pre-clearing, it affects trash farming, and it affects farming just in general for people who want to do Karazhan, right?
Yeah,
That's a good thing, right? I'm saying that. I'll say that's a good thing, or is that
there's a
suck?
lot
I
of
can't
gold
find it.
farms in Karazhan. There's a lot of gold farms that are pretty crazy. Paladins right now are getting about 1,200 gold per hour. And also rogues at level 80 will get insane gold per hour. It affects that drastically, right? Like Sartharion was
ID
saying,
fishing
they're
too,
watching
yeah.
Simonize. But yeah, ID fishing was a huge thing in OG speedruns, like in Classic. It was a thing in Sunwell, but you didn't need too many resets for it, realistically.
Yeah.
So it's not like
the wording on this is so weird. It looks like you get one shot per hour. Is what it looks
Yeah.
like for raids.
Well, no, I'm in there right now. You're still able to do like a normal 5 resets, but if you've done 5 resets of dungeons, it won't count against you entering the raid the first time. You just will that will count as like a 6th instance if you try to reset that raid
Gotcha.
ever.